What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of the Wild Blueberries Roundtable. I'm here today with Andrew and Renz. Just a little three-person discussion about the Stanley Cup Final, which begins on Monday. The inevitable Warriors championship run, which is almost done, as well as some final thoughts on Brock Nelson's new contract, the Miami Marlins winning 6 in a row, and the Washington Nationals' historically bad bullpen. All right, so let us begin with the Stanley Cup Finals. It has happened. The sweepers swept the sweepers who swept the sweepers who got swept. The Boston Bruins are headed to the Stanley Cup Finals to face the St. Louis Blues. I don't think anyone expected this to be the Stanley Cup Final come January 31st. Am I right there, Andrew?
Absolutely. The St. Louis Blues were in last place in the NHL at one point this season. Now, thanks to goaltending and good coaching, they are now in the Cup Final facing one of the better teams in the NHL in the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, and obviously, all of us being Southern Northeasterners, we all have our grudge against Northeast-based teams. So everything in Boston we have grudges against. So I think we kind of know what we're feeling for who we want to win. But before we get into that, let's just talk about some X factors. So I guess we'll start with one X factor from the Bruins and one from the Blues. I'll start with my X factor from the Bruins, and I think based on his play so far this series, playoffs, I feel like the X factor is going to be Torrey Krug. He hasn't been out there enough. I feel like in order for the Bruins to win, they need to rely on their defense because the Blues have 4 scoring lines. In their first line, which has Tarasenko and Schwartz on it. Their second line has, Jesus Christ. Their second line is Perron on it. Their third line is Maroon. Fourth line is Alex Steen, Ivan Barbashev. They've been great all series, or all playoffs. So I feel like if the Bruins want to win, they need to get a little bit more help from their back end. And I'm not saying that Krug has been terrible. He has 1 goal and 12 points in the playoffs, but he hasn't been as And if I really want to be the X factor, the entire Bruins defense. I really think that Krug has been playing well. McAvoy's been playing well. But I think if you're pointing in on one guy who needs to stop this team, to stop the offense for the Blues, it is Torrey Krug. All right, Renz, who's your Boston X factor?
My X factor might be a little bit of obvious, but for me, it's Rask. So Rask has been amazing during these playoffs, an under 2 GAA, a save percentage of in the 940s. For me, if he keeps this going, which I think he would, the Bruins have this in the bag. I don't think the Bruins will get to him. But if he falters, this series gets interesting. I know that there's also the defense for him that could help him, but the defense could also falter. Your last line defense is a goalie. If Rask can keep playing like he could, this could be a quick series.
All right, so we got Krug, we got Rask, and Andrew.
My X factor is going to be for the Bruins. I'm going to go with Brad Marchand. If he can continue to score at the pace he has so far this playoffs, currently he's got 18 points in the playoffs, in this playoffs. 7 goals and 11 assists in the 17 games. Only behind Logan Couture of the San Jose Sharks.
who's
if he
in the playoffs.
yes, if he can continue to produce at the way at the pace he has in this playoffs, especially how he did against Carolina, where he had 5 points, 2 goals, 3 assists in the 4-game sweep, then I think Boston does go on to win yet another trophy in a sport. Like, we need that in the world.
Breaking news, we don't, but we may get it. All right, so now moving on to the team that most people are calling the underdogs. However, if history repeats itself, the Blues will sweep the Bruins. The St. Louis Blues, and I feel like, and this is a weird one, because like if you're looking at this team, they really don't have anybody who's won a cup except for one player, and I don't think Oscar Sundqvist is the best person to rely on for cup experience, despite the fact he's playing second line minutes. But I think their X factor this series, I feel like it's just going to be their entire fourth line. So, but if I have to point somebody out in general, I think I'll point out Robert Thomas. Thomas is he's been very consistent these playoffs. He's not the biggest point scorer, but again, he's 19. He's just overall this year. I mean, he had 33 points this year, 9 goals, 24 assists in 70 games. He has 1 goal, 6 points in 19 games. He's playing a very fair amount, like, for somebody like him. If you're looking at, like, the playoff game log, he's playing somewhere in the realm of in between, like, 10 and 15 minutes a night as a fourth liner, which is huge for him being a 19-year-old. And if Thomas shows that he's a NHLer in this series, if he shows that he can make an impact, I feel like he's somebody the Blues can rely on next season if they end up losing Pat Maroon in free agency. All right, Rens?
Yeah, for me, so I know he's heated up right now, but Tarasenko, yeah, another obvious one. He's heated up right now. He has 8 goals, 5 assists, 13 points in the playoffs. You would expect him to have more with the amount of games he's played. But he's heating up. If he heats up, he could probably tear apart Rask and that entire offense because I don't. You guys have probably saw like that clip of him just floating one past like Jones, like he didn't even try. So yeah, Tarasenko.
All right, so Andrew?
I'm going to go with the obvious for the Blues. The Blues X factor has to be Jordan Binnington. If he can keep up to equal Rask in how Rask plays, the Blues will have a very good chance at winning because in terms of forward and defensive depth, they're very similar teams. I think the Blues are a little deeper there, so if Binnington plays as well as he can and as well as he has this year, then he's really the key. He had a .927 save percentage in the regular season. He's slipped a little bit in the playoffs, but in the last 3 games against the Sharks, he's got a .974 save percentage and has allowed 2 goals in 3 games.
All right, so we got Krug, Rask, Marchand, and then we got Thomas, Binnington, and Tarasenko. I guess now that we have finished the little playoff preview on our X Factors, now we can move on to our Cup winners. So, Andrew, who you got winning the Cup, how many games, and who's your Conn Smythe Trophy winner?
Are we going who you think is going to win the Cup or who you want to win the Cup?
Say both.
So, what I would love to see is a Blues sweep. And then your Conn Smythe winner, depending on how it goes, would either be Jaden Schwartz or Jordan Binnington. But realistically, I see this series probably going 6 or 7 games. And as much as I hate to say it, I think the Bruins take it in 6. And I think Tuukka Rask takes home the Conn Smythe. And Boston media can finally stop hating on the man. Who has been their team's backbone through the past several years. He is what's gotten you to this point, and he's what's gotten you a lot in the past couple years. Tuukka Rask is very underappreciated by Boston sports media, and that needs to change.
Tuukka Rask is very underappreciated, period. Alright, so runs. Cup winner, Conn Smythe, games.
Okay, so just like Andrew, who I want to win, Blues, obviously. I don't want to hear Boston arrogance in. But if I had to say who I think would win, I wanted to go 7 just because I want a long series. And I want an entertaining one that's also long. But I honestly think, Bruins in 7. I just think that they have the deeper team. Rask is going to be a brick wall in net, most likely. And we're going to see Boston win 3 out of 4 in the sports calendar.
Unfortunately.
Yep, and Conn Smythe, Rask.
I'd have to disagree that Boston has the deeper team. On paper, I'd say the Blues actually have the deeper team. If you're looking at talent level from top to bottom of the teams. The Blues are a deeper team, but Boston has the higher skill players.
I have to agree with Andrew there. So in my case, who do I want to win? I want to see the Blues sweep. Everybody wants to see the Blues sweep, except for Boston fans and people in the state of Illinois. Majority northern Illinois, where Blackhawks is like their life. Who do I think is going to win? I think the Bruins are going to take it in 5. They're just the better team, not the deeper team. They're the better team. And what I mean by better team, I think they have the better coaching. I think they have a stronger offensive presence because obviously the offense is being split among those 4 lines very, very well in St. Louis. But I think in Boston, like, just the presence that Marchand, Bergeron, and Pasta have brought forth. And let's just remember, this is David Backes' revenge series, too. I think Backes is going to put up big numbers this series. Like, if there's any time for David Backes to put up big numbers as a Bruin, it's these games. Am I right or am I right?
Yeah, that's true. Also, it'd be painful for Blues fans to see.
Backes win a cup.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, against them.
All right.
It's a very interesting series.
It is.
Bruins in 5, and my Conn Smythe winner is going to be Brad Marchand. All right. So obviously, this podcast was very condensed. We didn't have a lot to talk about. First game is on Monday. We are going to record on Monday. However, we will be doing something a little bit different. Hopefully we get more than 3 guys in here because we're trying to incorporate some new things. I know something trending is like quizzes and stuff. We're going to start doing that and a couple other different things that will start popping up in episodes. But I know that we have some final thoughts, and by some, I mean a lot. So I will begin. First off, the Triple-A New York Yankees are still in first place. Gleyber Torres has almost made Gary Thorne kill himself. And so has Gary Sanchez. Because Gleyber Torres has hit 12 home runs this year. 10 of them have been against the Baltimore Orioles. He has 4 multi-home run games this year. All 4 have been against the Baltimore Orioles. Gary Sanchez is a monster against the Orioles this year. And so is Clint Frazier. Like, everyone's talking about Torres and Sanchez numbers. Clint Frazier has 6 home runs this year against the O's. So, I understand, Brandon Hyde, I understand your quote about how a Major League Baseball team should not have pitchers throwing stuff down the middle for pitchers or for hitters to eat at. Fix that. Fix it. As a baseball fan, I like watching teams do well. I don't like watching teams suffer like the Orioles are right now. Obviously, the Yankees are feeding on them because it's the same division. But, come on. You're better than that, Mike Elias. Put together a competent ball club. Or trade Gibbons, trade Bundy, trade Mancini, and trade VR right now. Those are your 2 options. Either learn how to manage a competent ball club, or just sell off everybody right now. Because you're only looking down from here. And there is not an Andy Rutschman or a Bobby Witt Jr. coming out of next year's class. My second thought is on Brock Nelson. Nelson today signed a 6-year contract extension with the New York Islanders with an average annual value of $6 million a year. He has a no-trade clause in the first 2 and a partial in the last 4. It's a good deal. I like the deal. Islanders fans like the deal. Analysts like the deal. Because if he went on the open market, he would have gotten 6.5, 7 mil. That's what teams desire in a 50-point center right now. And obviously there are people who are like, oh, he's a checking center. It's his career high. Yeah, it's his career high, but he bought into Barry Trotz's system, and that's why he had a career high. He played a very strong defensive game this year. He's still our first-line center. And a first-line center like Nelson deserves to be paid $6 million. Apparently, they're negotiating a deal with Anders Lee also. Everly's on the back burners, so he looks like he may be gone this offseason. Filppula, I don't think is returning, and Leonard is still up for question. Because Thomas Greiss is still a decent goalie. People don't realize that. All right. My third and final thought is about the New York Jets. Adam Gase came out today during day 1 OTAs and said that he would not be trading Le'Veon Bell. And he had no issues with his contract in the first place. That's bullshit. There are definitely for sure things that Gase did not want to spend money on a running back because he drove Jay Ajayi out of town because Kenyon Drake was cheaper. It's about it. Like, you're going to use Le'Veon Bell. If you get fired before Le'Veon Bell's contract is up in 4 years, good for you. And that's your problem. If Le'Veon lasts longer than you in New York, which he probably will at this point, because knowing him, the GM's going to come in, he's going to last a season with Gase and then fire him, especially if it's Joe Douglas. Like, you, as a Jet fan, you expect the worst. You expect the worst and get the worst. Unless it's Leonard Williams, Jamal Adams, and Quentin Williams. That's another story. All right. So those are my final thoughts The Orioles still suck, and the Yankees are still good. Brock Nelson's contract is good. I don't care what other people say because Matt Duchene's not worth the money he's going to get. And there are no other competent centers out on the market. And Adam Gase has to deal with what he's dealt with. He has to deal with the hand he's got as coach of the Jets. All right, Renz.
So, really, I only have one thought right now, and it's about the Washington Nationals bullpen. So, for baseball fans, you already know the Mets swept the Nationals. The only reason why that happened, the only reason why that happened was that bullpen, and that bullpen gave up at least 3 runs every single game in the series, except for game 1, which the Nationals are left. So, as of today, I did the math on here. The Nationals bullpen has an ERA of 7.03. That is abysmal.
That's not good. And Andrew, you're a Phillies fan. You know this isn't good, right?
Yeah, the Nats bullpen is bad.
Yeah,
To put it
the
mildly, the Nationals bullpen is bad.
The thing is, this is not bad. It's historically bad.
Yeah.
As only one other team in history is worse as of this moment, and that was back in the 50s.
I haven't seen anything this bad for a very long time.
No one has. Like, how do you stop it? Like, that's what I'm thinking. Like, even Doolittle fell apart yesterday.
I have 2 fantastic words for you, Renz.
You don't.
And and we got another 9 days until it happens. Craig Kimbrell.
Oh, yeah, right, because that's when true. That's when the draft compensation ends.
On June 1st, draft compensation drops on Craig Kimbrell and Dallas Keuchel, and we will see them sign.
But can't Craig Kimbrell sign with the Nats? Actually, if they throw him a bunch of money, he would.
Yeah, if they pay him what he's looking for, he'll go. He'll go to any team.
He'll go to any team as long as you pay him, but they'll instantly regret it.
Yeah.
See, the thing with him is, does he still want a 3-year deal, or does he want a 1-year prove it?
Yeah, especially at this point.
Keuchel's okay with a 1-year prove it. I don't know about, Kimbrell, though.
Keuchel, I'd give 1 year 20 just to finish out the year. Like, get in my rotation and pitch your heart out.
Someone's gonna do that.
I could see it being the Phillies.
It might be the Yankees, Mets, Phillies, Brewers, or Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I don't know why, but I can't imagine Dallas Keuchel without a beard. I can't.
That's why David Price didn't sign with the Yankees a couple of years ago.
Dallas Keuchel needs his beard.
The Yankees had an offer on the table for David Price. He refused to because he didn't want to shave his beard.
Dallas Keuchel will lose all his powers without the beard.
He'll become a 5-ERA pitcher.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Nikola Mirotic's power is in the shaved face. Why can't...
Yeah, but Keuchel's the opposite. Okay. Yeah, that's really my only thought just because of how bad Washington's is, and it's already 2 months past.
Abysmal can one team's bullpen be?
Apparently bad enough because even John Doolittle fell apart, and he's been the only good player on that bullpen.
Not saying much. All right.
It.
Andrew, have we got any rants about soccer today?
No rants about soccer because there hasn't been much. There hasn't been any since the last time we recorded. However, I do have 2 final thoughts for us today. One, the Phillies took 2 out of... They split their 4-game series with the Cubs this week. Which isn't bad. I'll take it. The Cubs are a good baseball team. The Bats came alive today. They won 9-7. They have a very tough task coming up playing the Brewers this weekend.
Martinez may be just Dingers Martinez. JT Realmuto is just Taters Realmuto.
Yeah, JT
Fall.
Jacob Tyler hit one out of Wrigley today.
Yeah, that ball was absolutely destroyed.
That ball was obliterated. And Bryce Harper is an above average defensive right fielder. Don't let anybody tell you any different. Bryce Harper is not a defensive liability.
He gets throw it over all the Cubs fans in right field, though.
Yeah, he did that. He can throw a guy out at the plate. He can make diving catches.
I mean, he was bound to regain his defensive form. Like, that's what I never understood from people. People thought he was always gonna be a defensive black hole. No, he isn't. He's still in his 20s.
Yeah, he's in his 20s.
Gonna be
He'll
fine. Regain it. Like,
he'll lose it when he gets towards 35, but right now, no, he's a good defender.
Oh no, like, he's a good defender. He just had like a few bad seasons. Like, that's why.
Hey, Andrew, you see, the thing is, you got him until he's 40.
Yeah, I know. But by that time, we'll have a universal DH, and he'll just DH for us.
And the Mets are gambling on Robinson Cano. Oh, yep. By the way, Robinson Cano was placed on the injured list today.
Why? Oh, yeah.
Along with Jeff McNeil.
And he got hurt.
I know. I know. Who would have thought him hustling would have gotten hurt?
Also,
tell him to run. He runs and gets hurt.
For my second final thought, football is back.
Amen.
OTAs opened up this week. Carson Wentz is a full participant in OTAs. Carson Wentz will be NFL MVP this year.
Oh,
wow, that's a very hot.
Mark it down. The last time Carson Wentz had a full offseason to prepare as the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles,
he almost won MVP.
He should have won MVP.
Didn't Tom Brady end up winning it?
Tom Brady only won MVP because Carson Wentz got hurt in Week 13 or Week 12. If Carson Wentz had not torn his ACL, he would have been NFL MVP.
Oh no, easily.
And the weapons he has around him this year as compared to what he had 2 years ago when he was MVP are better. He now has Alshon Jeffrey and Deshaun Jackson on the outside. You've got Nelson Aguilar, who is a great slot receiver. Granted, he's getting paid a little bit too much, but to be a third wide receiver option, but that's okay. And then you've got J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, you've got Dallas Goedert, Zach Ertz, Miles Sanders, Jordan Howard, and maybe even Corey Clement as your offensive weapons. The Eagles this offseason have built the offense to score points. If this team does not finish top 5 in the league as a top 5 offense in the NFL, it will be a disappointment. Because of all the weapons that are around Carson Wentz. And this team should be playing in January and hopefully into February for a second Super Bowl title.
All right. So before we do anything, apparently Phil Kessel was just recently asked to consider waiving his no trade clause to go to Minnesota.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, I understand why Pittsburgh wants to do.
My question:
Minnesota would.
Why do the Wilds want him?
Yeah, that's my question. Like,
why would the Wilds give up Jason Zucker?
Like, Zucker scored 33 points with Mikael Gramlin. Imagine what he could do with Crosby.
33 goals for Gramlin isn't much. Crosby, oh boy.
My.
The Flames are still pushing for Zucker like they were at the deadline. Oh, that's still such a funny story. But, yeah, the Penguins are retooling.
Yeah.
Now,
yes, they are.
They're trying to get one more run out of it.
Now all they need to do is find Will Smith as the Aladdin genie and ask for 3 wishes. Wish 1, never sign the Jack Johnson contract.
We all knew that was bad the minute they signed it.
You knew it was bad when you saw the term.
Yeah. The money wasn't awful, but the term, it's like, what were you thinking?
No, like $3 million isn't terrible. When you hear the number 5, you're thinking, oh, that's probably how much money he's getting. What? That's the years?
Yeah.
Wish 2,
Like,
never trade Carl Hagelin for Tanner Pearson.
Wish number 3, don't trade Ryan Reeves for a first.
And number 3, don't give up a first-round pick and Oscar Sundqvist for Ryan Reeves. And that is all, folks.
Because Oscar Sundqvist is now playing for a Stanley Cup.
Yep.
And I don't remember who the first-round pick was.
We'll look that up after
Paige
the show.
Thompson? No, it's Klim Kostin. I think it might have been Klim Kostin.
Yep.
It's either him or Tage Thompson.
But the 2017 draft. 31st overall selection.
Yeah, it's Klim Kostin.
They traded Oscar Sundqvist and Klim Kostin for Ryan Reeves. They then traded to Vegas in the Derek Brassard 3-team trade. All right. Yep, there we go. That's it, folks. We will be back on Monday with a little Stanley Cup trivia competition, maybe. I don't know. We'll figure out what's going on because we got no set plan anymore. We're just like 2E streams. We got no set plan, and we'll just go along as we got it. All right. We will see you on Monday.